Oh, good day, legends. We are back for 2024 Season 3. We're launching the pod starting now. It's going to be an epic episode. We're starting the year off strong. We've got the off-season trip. What the hell I've been up to? Brayden's dating life also. A lot of people were wanting updates, Brayden. We've also got trade period stuff. And then, you wouldn't believe it, while we were gone, we went to a festival beyond the valley. Did a whole live show. It was a thing. We'll tell you all about it. It's all in this episode coming up. And you best believe it, we're coming at you weekly every Tuesday. So set your calendars, ladies and gentlemen. Season 3 starts now. Wowee, it is good to be back for Season 3 of the podcast. Brayden Cocks, it is great to welcome you back to the show. Let's go!
G'day, Mason. As per usual, old habits die hard. You're late again to another record, so that's been great. But tell us where you've been, what you've been up to, because I'll cut it short. I've been up to nothing, just working as per usual, so not a lot has changed there. What have you been up to? Because it's probably easier to just say what you haven't done. Because looking at the list here, you have been to every sport around the globe. Tell us what you've been up to.
I've done F1, NBA, NFL, NHL, live golf over in Miami, which is a wild time. We broke a stage with Fisher performing in a weekend. That's a whole story within itself we'll get into. But awesome time. Did a bunch of sport and everything else. Brother got married, so went and celebrated with them for a bit. Or the marriage that had already occurred that I missed because of footy season.
You rocked up for the celebration.
Yeah, right. The celebrations, right? And then mom and dad had their 40th wedding anniversary. Shout out to mom and dad. We love the mom and dads on this podcast.
Shout out.
And just traveled the world, man. I was at the Australian Open, and then Tom Brady was rolling around, so I said hi to him. And yeah, it's been a bit on, Brayden. Been here, there, and everywhere, but in a good way.
Does any cashies come out when the sports season in Melbourne, or?
No, unfortunately, the cash just falls off a cliff after I'm done with footy, and then it's more experiences I'm given, which is awesome. I still love it. It's insane, right? Like to meet these people that are legends of the game. Like people like Tom Brady is the greatest of all time whenever it comes to NFL, right? Like to meet these kind of people and be interacting with them and just to be part of this experience, I just never thought my life would really happen. So it kind of makes you pinch yourself of like, what in the world is my life now?
I did see someone mention, I get the height thing when you're standing next to Tom Brady and he just looks like a normal dude because you're towering over him. I get like a little bit of the attraction for the tall guys out there. It made sense, but let's dive into some of them because you just touched on all of them, but you went over there, Vegas
F1, inaugural Formula One in Vegas.
Tell us about the experience because you went with your brother who gets to just chain along. He's on your coattails.
He's like, as soon as you get a missus, I'm going to be the most pissed off person in the world because all my +1 privileges just go out the window. So he's waiting for that day, and it's not going to be a great one. But we did go to the F1. We had KO helped us out with that, got us some like media passes. We weren't really sure what these media passes, would get us access to, and it didn't give any information whenever we had picked them up. So it's the first time, right? So with the first time with anything, no one's really 100% sure what's going on. So we kind of made this agreement between my brother and I that we just had to do everything with the utmost confidence. Walk head first into things. Don't make eye contact with anyone. Just act like you're supposed to be there, right? And that got us in good standing because we at one point were on pit lane. There was no one else there. We had a dinky iPhone acting like we were media filming content. And we were rolling around like looking like we were doing shoeies in front of Daniel Ricciardo's garage. And we were rolling around this whole place and we were, chatting Oscar Piastri and all these other people that are part of the F1. And James Corden comes up and says hi. And, then you got, Gordon Ramsay comes and says hi because he was in Melbourne shooting Food Stars was about to come out. Whole thing. And it was just a crazy experience for a weekend of like all access to an F1 in Vegas. And you can imagine there was a little bit of partying here and there, maybe. I don't know, Brad, maybe a beer or two.
You and James Gordon.
Season, right? Maybe it's Vegas, right? You never know. It was a good time though, and it was epic, man. Like I love the F1. It's coming to Melbourne here soon, obviously, for the race. And it was just so cool. It's just like the entertainment capital of the world. And there was that many DJs and everything else playing, and it was insane. Like one of the nights, yes, I didn't go to sleep. I will admit.
Because they had that thing where they had to shut it down because of the manhole covers.
Yes, and it tore apart a Ferrari. There's a drama behind that and having to fix it ASAP. And then Max Verstappen got, a penalty and he fell behind this. It was an amazing weekend, right? Everything you could ask for from like stories and headlines and everything else. Awesome. So much fun.
Stuff's always kicking off in the F1s. And then you rolled over to the NHL?
Well, I did the NFL and the NHL on the same day. NHL, I did at night. And NFL, we did during the day. So we did the Chargers during the day at like 1 o'clock, and then the NHL at like 6:30 or 7 p.m. So we did 2 in one day. So I had to stop over in LA about 24 hours, go to 2 sports, and then the next morning I flew back out to Australia. So
you were on their social channels, weren't you?
Yeah. So
pretty good. I reckon
crazy in that
that's
sense.
2 and 2. Like you've been back here, you're on the LA Kings socials,
so
and you went to the F1s in Melbourne.
Yeah. So there was a puck drop in Melbourne before the grand final that I had to do. And the story is like, it's the grand final week, right? I've got plenty on. They're like, you could do a puck drop for the NHL, right? They got this kind of international game they're doing. And I was like, yeah, that sounds like fun. So I go over there and I do this puck drop. And I kid you not, this is the week of the grand final. And as we know, everyone hates Collingwood players. So I'm going out there. We're in a grand final. Everyone's rooting or barracking against us. Sorry, I still get my terminology right. Don't want to go down that road.
Don't want to get that one right.
And I'm sitting here with the puck, and I walk out, and I'm on this, you're on the carpet, and I walk the wrong way. It's not like there's 20,000 people there to tell me I'm a dumbass. I walk back the other way. And then I shake someone's hand, acting like I was trying to be polite. But really, I'm trying to figure out where the hell do I go next.
Yeah. And you've got the puck.
I've got the puck. I've got the thing to start the whole damn thing. Then the 2 players there, I'm like, okay, I think I'm supposed to be here in between them. And then I'm sitting there about to drop the puck, and all I hear is this echoing of, boo, you suck, Collingwood sucks, just going off on me. And the 2 players who went to the prelim, because they got both the hockey teams together, the prelim, where we beat WS by a point, they're like, AFL's the most insane sport I've ever heard. They loved it. And they kind of both looked at me like, geez, this town really fucking hates you.
So confused.
So confused. It was a good time though. And I got to see all those people again in LA and got to go behind the scenes at Crypto Arena, which was insane, really cool. And the LA Rams looked after me too, which was sick.
And now we're jumping all over the shop
over the place.
Because this is here, there, and everywhere. But let's go back to the USAFL, because you did that again, which you love doing.
Love promoting the AFL.
What happened over there?
My brother won another championship. So he's, the good thing is though, now he can't say this one thing that's really pissed me off for the last few years. You're the only brother that's not a premiership player. So as soon as I won the premiership, that was one of the first things I said to him. I said, you can stop fucking saying that.
But then he got pissed off. Now he's pissed off. Now he's like, I need 10 of them.
Yeah, I think he's got like 6 or 7 now. So he's got a few up on me. I think our medals are probably a little bit nicer.
Surely he's getting close to retirement. You're giving him the nudge. Come on, mate. He's almost 40.
He's 36 now, so he's getting there. He's about to turn 37. He's married now. I think everything the time goes into the wife and hopefully the kid in the future. But USAFL was epic over there. And then we did the Live Golf and was hanging out with Camp Smith and some connections over there, which was pretty cool and just epic. Like, I'm not very good at golf, but the Live Golf was quite an experience. At one point, I was hanging out in Trump's box. He wasn't there. Donald Trump wasn't there, don't get me wrong. But I was drinking his piss and eating his food. So I felt like my tax dollars I've spent over the last few years have gone to good use now.
That's good. You get it back. You get it all back. How many shoeys did you do in the States? You had to do at least one if you didn't do one.
I had a friend of mine, he did a shoey in a sushi restaurant next to me, and he's like one of the calmest guys, and I was just like, this is the most disgusting, absurd, but fitting thing with Live Golf.
That's real salmonella territory. Now,
so gross.
We didn't. I saw from afar the Australian Open this year.
Yeah.
I reckon it was one of the first ones I didn't get around to, but you made up for both of us. You were there every day in the crowd. You were interviewing people. You were, Oz Open flat out. Yeah. What was your experience there?
Well, I did about like 8 days of the 15. So I did over half the days.
That's
there,
nuts.
Which is a lot. And I did the Saturday. The first Saturday is one of the best because there's like heaps of people and people from all over the world. And people come down from Sydney and across the country. And everyone's there for this kind of spectacle. And there's still games outside on the outdoor courts. So you can see tennis without having to pay like the premium tickets. So a lot of people go there and you just see everyone. It's like a big kind of melting pot of people from all over. And make a lot of friends, everything else, good times. And then the rest of it, whenever you win a premiership, as people have said, things change in your life. And I started to realize that because then all of a sudden it's like, oh, hey, you want a ticket to the game tonight? You want to go to this, that? And you're like, I might as well make the most of this. I mean, it'd be silly not to, right?
I think it's a good combo of like you win the grand final, so you get the free tickets, but also, Djokovic, all those guys aren't in the finals. There's a few seats floating around, so you can get some of those. That's when you can really cash in. Because some of those finals, the guys with like the corporates just, stuck around for a little bit and then shut off.
Well, it's a late night sometimes. You got the 2 games in it. It is a late night. There's ones I had to leave early because it's like 3 sets in. It's like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And then they're like, this is going to go for another couple hours. I got training in the morning. I can't go here until 1 a.m.
Sometimes when you're like sitting down to watch the tennis and it's like a match is starting and it's like 10 p.m. or whatever, you're like, what are you...
Like,
maybe
speed. I want to commit to this.
And you get a 5-hour one or whatever, and they always suck you in. Where you're like, I'll just wait to the end of this set, and then it like
the Demonol one like got me good. And he's like went to 5, and it was epic. It was so cool. But yeah, the Australian Open, awesome experience. Got to interview 2 best Americans probably out there at the moment. Fritz and Coco Gauff, and got to interview them, which was awesome. It was a cool experience in my life. Interviewing some of the top athletes of their sport in the moment that they're actually in their prime. And that was really cool, really unique experience. It's something I want to kind of get into is doing these international events. And, people keep reminding me, retirement's around the corner, Mason. What are you doing next? You get that question a lot the older you get. What's after footy? What's next? What's next?
How about Kyrgios? He's diving right into space. He's, bit more practice, I reckon. He's a bit...
But he's got the connects with the players to make it interesting, I think. He knows Djokovic, and he's sitting there laughing with him on the tennis court and stuff like that while he's in the bunker. And there's little things like that, you can't make up. He's just got because he played with him, and, was playing against him and stuff like that.
They just throw him to the wolves, though. They were like, go out on the court and interview like...
Here's a mic. Good. Go enjoy.
Djokovic was like, I actually need my own mic, and like took it from him. I was like, I hate awkwardness. So I just had to change the channel. I was like, someone else tell me if it was good because I'm not watching it. We did touch on Tom Brady a little bit, but you met Tom. It looked like you had some one-on-one time.
Gosh, it was an awesome experience, but it had a bit of a funny tie to it, right? Like AFL players in Melbourne, right? They're kind of like looked at as probably like the most well-known athletes out of Melbourne, right? You could say that. It's not a big-headed thing to say. And, people come to them and sometimes they have this kind of starstruck attitude. It was funny to me hanging out with AFL players and them having the starstruck attitude towards Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And they were like nervous to talk to him and didn't know. And this was coaches and stuff too. And like Alison Clarkson and stuff were there. And everyone's kind of wondering when they can like jump in or if it's like their turn or what questions they can ask. And you're in this kind of room and everyone's asking like, allowed to ask whatever they want, but no one wants to break the ice,
Yeah.
And the guy's sitting there and he's like walks in. He's like, oh yeah, how's everyone going? And the guy's like, yeah. And he's like, Tom's like, yeah, I'm going well, a bit jet lagged, such and such. And then the guy goes, so that guy there, and he points straight at me, he goes, he's the token American. He plays what's called AFL. There's the ice broken. He's like, you two go at it for a little bit, and then everyone else will ask the questions. So chatted for a little bit. He's an awesome guy, legend. He was here for like 24 hours in Australia and then flew back. So that would have been a whirlwind of an experience, just being like jet lagged, trying to figure out, talk to people. And he was throwing passes to every player, I feel like, NRL and AFL player. And it was one big media thing. It was cool to have him in town. It's great to have those kind of people. Him, RIP Kobe came in, a few years ago, and these Shaq and these kind of big names that, are kind of one-offs, don't come every single year. It's great to have them there and try to be involved in some capacity to kind of, just hang out with them and ask a few questions about their career and what made them successful.
I understand the ick, when people say, oh, this gives me the ick, that gives me the ick.
Does that give you the ick?
I watch these players.
Is your red flag?
I watch these.
We haven't even gotten to the dating, Brayden.
No, don't worry, we'll get there.
We'll get there.
I watch these players absolutely losing their shit over meeting Tom Brady, and it's like, I'm sorry to say, but it's a bit embarrassing watching these guys like, Tom, throw me the ball. Oh my God, I caught it. How cool. That's Tom Brady. And it's like, oh my God, chill out. Like it's a bit embarrassing. But watching from a distance, I've only seen, it was only players in the room from what I could see. Like they were just posting content like, this is a picture with me and Tom and stuff. And it's like.
I fell into that trap. It's like,
one of those. But at least you standing next to him just looked like you were catching up with another American like peer.
I've never seen someone your height.
It was so weird.
It was probably a face of confusion of what the fuck is AFL again?
Yeah, it's so weird. And when he was like walking in and everyone mobbed him, and he's got security like
it was like a boxing match or an MMA match. He needed like the theme music to roll out with and a big kind of, a robe over his head, just the boxing gloves ready to go.
So weird. Anyway, I'm glad that, players get to experience that once and they went.
Bit of humility, right? Bit of humility. Well, we'll get into something that involved both of us now. Beyond the Valley, we haven't really caught up about this. We did a live show, first ever live show, Beyond the Valley. We went to a festival, Brayden.
Yeah, it's crazy.
A festival. I've never been to a festival in Australia, but we threw ourselves in the deep end and ended up doing a live show, which, I mean, let's be honest here. How many people did you expect to show up?
Yeah, I thought like 10, maybe.
And how many do you reckon actually were there?
I think it's like 200, 250, like a lot of people.
Yeah, which you can imagine. Like we had our, we usually write down a little like list of things we want to talk about. And you said this after we were done. You were like, Mason, I could tell you were nervous. And I was shitting myself going out on stage. People chanting USA, doof doof sticks out the back.
You're coming off the grand final.
Dressed, one dude was full dressed up in a 46 Collingwood jersey. Had the socks pulled up even. The shin guards covered. Had the full socks and boots on and everything else. And I was like, I love it. It's awesome, don't get me wrong, but I was just not prepared. I was didn't think that many people would show up, which was like, we loved it. It was so incredible to have that kind of support. But I think with our low expectations we went in with, we kind of were a bit shocked walking out on stage going, oh shit. We've got a lot of different levels of sobriety we have to probably entertain here. Yeah, it was a 12:30 slot. So you're getting people that are still hungover from the night before. People are getting their first bite of food for the day. And people have already started their next night all in one place.
Yeah, it was bizarre. There was a couple of guys in the front row that looked like they were enjoying themselves. They were like laid out flat with like sunnies on. We're in a tent.
We're in a tent.
But yeah, it was cool getting like feedback in real time because you start talking about something boring and you could tell that people stop paying attention, or like you would start talking shit about a club or whatever just to like, test it out and you get heckles or whatever. It was really cool. It was pretty cool.
Great learning experience.
I had no pressure because I was like, we're in the middle of a paddock, in the middle of nowhere, and no one gives a fuck what I'm saying. So I just kept rolling you under the bus, kept asking you questions.
You were out there after me. You were like Tom Brown. You were the old Tom Brown, just trying to like get some juice out of me.
Because with the like immediate feedback, it was fun getting like those reactions. Oh. You're like, hey.
I was like oh,
every
no,
topic.
I think I've said something I shouldn't have said.
I'm glad. I don't know if a journalist was there. But if a journalist was there, I think we're even. I think we're even.
The scarves on and everything else. Tom Morris is probably out there.
Yeah, if you're ratting on us, we're ratting on you. If you see a Tom Brown out there with a doof stick wearing a cowboy hat.
From that, I'm going, I'm calling Channel 7 or Fox for you. Tell them you spent it 3 days at Beyond the Valley.
It was good though. And then we followed it up with we went on Triple J, which is pretty crazy.
It was epic. Yeah, that was cool.
Like another thing that we kind of didn't expect.
Very on brand with our community of Triple J.
Yeah. It was another thing you were late to. Just put it on the list. Let's jump into.
Let's move on. So,
let's jump into the footy season because there's plenty to talk about. We've already wasted a lot of time just talking about you.
Are we going into your dating scenario? Or are you going to try to skip past that?
I almost got through it.
I want to hear about this.
Got through it. I had a few. I'm gonna like get through them. Like I had a few dates.
I didn't speed date through this dating segment.
Yeah, exactly. So a couple of people have had, I don't know if it's offense, but they almost pulled out that my last name was spelt the way that it is, the proper way, the COCKS, the bag of dicks, as I like to say.
2 cocks, 1 pod.
2 cocks, 1 pod. All the photos on my Hinge account are in my Instagram. So I know if I send someone my Instagram and they ghost me or whatever, it's probably not because of my pictures, because they're the same. I only have 5 pictures of myself from the past 33 years, Mason. My Instagram handle, for those who want to follow along, Brayden.Cocks. So you can see my last name. Now, I don't know if people are thinking ahead. If we get married, they're going to have to become Mrs. Cox or whatever. But I've had a couple of ghostings off the back of that alone. Like, we've been locked in for a date, and they're like, let's take it off Hinge. Let's chat via Instagram. Yeah. Send the Instagram handle. Gone.
Gone.
And
you reckon it's the last name that's...
What has to be? What else is it? Unless they look at the tagged and see me on this podcast talking about all the dating that's been terrible.
I'd rather not have my dirty laundry aired out.
And then I had another person fully 100% believe that I was lying about how my last name was spelt. Really? To the degree where they refused to put it correctly into their contact list.
I'll give you this. I've never met anyone that spelt it the way that yours is spelled. And it's the unfortunate way. Let's be honest.
You've only met cowards. You got to spell it the correct way. See, why be a Cox but then spell it wrong? Like,
it's subtle.
if you're going to be teased for it, at least have it proper.
I want to say this. I think you need to change a prompt to something like, you don't have to take my last name. You can keep your own if we get married.
So should I put my last name in my profile?
Maybe this is it. Maybe we need a questionnaire to someone to say, what's the dating prompts that we need to give for Brayden to get the most matches on Hinge?
I've got a few. So that can be one. Should I put my last name in my profile so no one's, surprised?
Yeah.
Two.
How long is this list again?
I matched with, and I don't know if she watches this podcast, so apologies if you do. You won't be named. But there's a bakery near me that I absolutely love. And there's not many things in this life that I get to just enjoy, Mason. Yes. I'm always working. I'm slaving away. But I did like to go to this bakery and get a little pastry.
Le croissant.
And they open Wednesday through Sunday or whatever. So I'd always go in there, get the pastry. And then she matched with me on Hinge. And then I was like, oh, do I reply and say no thanks? Or do I just say no match and just pretend like it didn't happen, which I think you were leaning towards.
That's the best way to answer that question, I think, is be like, oh, I took some time off the app. I didn't want to, because look, Brayden, and I've done this before. Don't shit where you eat.
I know, but now.
Don't shit where you eat.
I took option number 3 and just I pretended like it didn't happen.
Yep.
And I never go back to the bakery.
What?
I haven't been back to the bakery.
No, you just go back, and then she'd give you the eye. She'd give you the eye. Or do you find her attractive?
No, I don't want anything from it because I don't want to shit where I eat. I just want the pastry.
I get you. Yeah.
So then if it turns awkward, and I hate awkward situations, and then I have to go in there and be like...
I understand that.
So the awkwardness, I just avoid the whole thing.
That sucks. But then...
now I don't get the pastry. And unfortunately, it happened on the other side, the barista, which I am not... like a player, Mason. I'm single, very much single. The barista at the cafe on the other side, she hit me up, and then I stopped going and getting coffee there.
What's your distance to? Is it a kilometer?
Yeah, and they must just be attracted to my proximity because outside of that 1 block radius, I don't match with anyone or do anything. Why couldn't it be the barista up the road here? But that's another thing. But now this is the last one. I'll end it on this one. But this one annoyed me the most because I am a busy man. And I often tell you, but I don't use it as an excuse when I'm dating because I know how annoying it is when someone says they're busy and just assumes that you're not. Anyway, I matched with this girl and would match before. And she sent a message to me saying, I think we've done this before. So I jumped ahead and said, we have.
Got back on the app.
So how about let's lock in a date? Let's make this thing happen.
She was like, forwardness, bang.
Yeah, she was like, yep, great, let's do it. We'll meet up for a coffee. I said, where are you? In proximity to me. I'll pick something in the middle, a bit closer to you, because I'm a nice guy.
Chivalry's not dead.
So she told me she lived in the Richmond area. I picked out a cafe. Let's lock it in. Ghosted me.
Ghosted?
So no response. So I did all the work on my end, picked a time, picked a cafe.
You've done everything right.
I've done everything right. Ghosted. And I'm like, okay, cool. Wait a day. Wait 2 days. Wait 4 days, I think.
Yeah, okay. So you're not the triple texter.
No.
Okay, yeah.
I got shit on.
You were the double.
I'm not desperate.
You double.
So I just said a joke back.
Oh, you try to reignite the conversation.
Which I don't
We've all been there.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And then because because of the context of we've been here before, I sent a message saying well, at least we know this time it's definitely your fault.
Or the subtle bullying is not really, okay.
Some people, the subtle bullying is their thing. Yeah, so I was like, I'll provoke an answer, a response by the subtle bullying. Well, nothing. For another day, and then I get back, and this is as close to just gaslighting me as it can get.
Love this.
She says, wow, chill out.
Yeah.
I was working night shift.
Night shift where?
Oh, it doesn't fucking matter. What, you're working night shift for 4 days straight. You're just going...
working a night shift at the hospital at the ER saving lives?
You still have
You'd feel a little bit bad, wouldn't you?
No, you have down. You have
feel a little bit
downtime.
bad.
Everyone's got a
Surely.
job. Everyone's got a job. You got downtime. You're not just working night shift into night shift into night shift.
Might have been the weekend of BTV.
So I just left it. I was just like, no, I left it. I'm above that. Higher
you're
ground.
better than that,
yeah,
are you?
So I just left it. But should I be annoyed at that?
No, I think that just happens.
We're all busy.
We're all busy. Yeah, I agree. And
I
then-
hate it when people use their busyness as an excuse. Why are you on the dating app?
Agreed. Just get off.
Just get off. If you're too busy, get off.
Yeah. Free up some time. Just get off it. Delete it.
But it didn't affect me, and I just
Okay,
brushed
so you
it
moved on
off.
to the
And
barista,
I didn't
and then
even.
You moved on to the pastry lady.
I only look for dates in my immediate area. If I can't throw a
She was
stone,
outside the kilometer radius.
exactly. Anyway, that's what I've been up to. While you've been gallivanting around the world, I've been having these problems.
You've been staying within your kilometer radius. That's
Still
what we got.
single. Still single.
Oh, good. Well, it makes two of us, mate. Well, we'll get into the footy. What's news in the footy world? What's happened since we've dispersed?
I did want to ask you about one thing because it clearly looks like you've blown out a bit. Now, is this because
fat? Jeez.
looking fat? I could tell when you walked in the door that
Jeez.
it felt like the air got tighter. Players wait. Now,
yeah.
I don't know if we're allowed to talk about this or if it's been a bit hush-hush, but we're not. Apparently, we're not allowed to discuss it. It's not a thing anymore. We're getting rid of it. Players wait. Not a thing. How much do you weigh?
I weigh right now 109.2
You
kilos.
shouldn't have told me
Yeah.
because you're not
Not
allowed.
allowed.
To.
Oh, sorry, Tom Brown. Careful.
How? What? 100? Are you over 100 kilos?
Yeah, easy. I was like 115 last year.
Wow.
Yeah. I know I look skinny and I am, but
Oh, jeez, where are you keeping that? That's heavy. I'm like 75.
why do you think I'm so
I'm like
slight?
half of you,
Yeah.
height wise and weight wise. But
Okay.
what are your thoughts on
Players,
it? Is this,
so we're saying the ins and outs of 2024 and players' weights on the out.
yeah.
Okay. Why did they just? Okay. Now I've heard this. Now I want to I'll make a comment around this. This might be a little headliner for you.
Okay.
Right. I think weights and heights and all that stuff is bullshit anyway.
Because you just lie about it.
I still don't think we've said this before. I'm not 100% sure I'm the tallest player to ever play AFL.
like
I'm listed as the tallest player to ever play AFL, but I think that was a bit of a selling point to bring the American over here to be like, hey, we've got a guy bigger than anyone that's ever lived. Here's he is.
It's like when you tell people that you're 7 foot, when your Instagram account says you're 6'10".
Well, yeah. Well, I tell people I'm 6'12" to see how drunk they are.
Nice.
For the people out there, 12 inches in a foot, I'd be 7 foot.
Nice.
But yeah, no, players' weights I think it's all BS. And then also the interesting thing is like, what happens? Like, I don't know, do they do this with the AFLW? Do they have players' weights for AFLW and stuff?
I don't believe so. I don't believe so.
I don't think they'd want to go down that path, and I don't think that's the right thing to do. So maybe that's a bit of like we don't want to have rules for one and not the other. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's a possibility.
Can they just say like, oh, he's looking trim?
It's so different though, because like Swanee like 6 years ago was getting so much criticism and stuff, and then now we've gotten to the point where we can't even like talk about it.
But if a player comes back from preseason and a professional commentator's there to commentate what he sees, what they see,
Yeah.
and you see Mason Cox plodding out onto the field, his guts is hanging over his shorts.
Real Div 12 resi.
Is he meant to just pretend that I don't see that? I don't see that.
Not seeing this, not believing this.
I don't know. You gotta, There's still got to be like professional standards. You got to be held to account. But I guess you can do it through performance.
Yeah, I guess you could probably show GPS numbers or something like that. Maybe, I'm not sure. But I think you can only show the top 5 GPS runners. There's limits on that too. They cap that because they don't want people to be bashing all the players that are slow as shit like me.
Oh my God, you're getting just a free ride.
This is the issue, right? Because like these things happen as a big man. You're always out the back. You're always the heaviest. You can lift some of the most weight of the club, but your statistics otherwise don't look too great. Like your 2K time trial and stuff. Like I'm always the last one. And the problem was once Brody left, because Brody was behind me, I became the last one.
No.
So then now I'm the one that everyone has to make sure they're in front of. Because if you're behind me after the 2K time trial, you got some catching up to do, and you're going to be in Fat Club. We probably don't call it Fat Club anymore, but like you're going to be doing a few extra bike sessions. Let's just say that.
See, I don't think it'll fly with your coaches.
Nah, we don't do 2K time trial anymore.
But if the coaches is like, mate, you're looking a bit unfit, you got to get into like the extras camp, and you go, excuse me.
How dare you say that?
That's insulting, mate. Please step back.
Oh, man. Interesting. Go, 2024, players' weights out. What's in 2024 is apparently Sam Mitchell getting sick in New York City.
Yeah, well, this is actually crazy because I don't know. It's not the only thing that happened to him while he was over there, but he got hospitalized in New York over the Christmas break.
Yeah.
With kind of pneumonia, but it was like multi-level to it. So he ended up passing out.
Yeah.
Which was always a scary thing.
Great. Especially overseas. Healthcare system, not great in America. Heads up. Hopefully he had travel insurance.
Yeah. Do we want to take him to the hospital? Oh, Jesus. I want to have some money
Here's
when I get back.
$100,000.
But he was informed that he had a cocktail of issues that threatened multi-organ failure, including multiple types of influenza combined with a bacterial pneumonia.
That's serious.
And on top of that,
yeah.
If your holiday's not going that great as it is, someone
doesn't sound great.
Stole his passports.
Someone stole his passports on top?
And they had to track him down to get his passport back so he could get back to Australia.
Gosh. Essentially, he had the worst holiday possible.
Yeah, well, that's one thing. So multi-organ failure. Well, Stevie J gutted himself with a knife that he was carrying in a bag.
Oh, I heard about this, yeah.
So, just apparently it went through him like a knife through hot butter.
He? Yeah,
he was trying to open it, he was working with a gate and just stabbed himself in the guts.
Out here in the AFL world.
Jeez, it's all going down. No issues like that for you over the break? Didn't almost die? You've almost died a couple of times.
Yeah, when we had the lacerated spleen, internal bleeding last year, the eyes, a few other things.
So you almost died before it was cool.
College was up there. So college, a few nights of college may have cost me. No, nothing too crazy this offseason. Just enjoying life, Brayden. Just enjoying life.
Enjoying life. But you have been beefing with GWS. This is an ongoing beef. I don't know.
Keeps going. They keep dragging this out. This might be their favorite story of the year.
And the latest one, which...
I still stick to my guns. Never said anything that was untrue.
Yeah, well... now it's
just saying
it's bleeding into the club because they had a little crack at your grassy court. There, your grassy court.
Oh, yeah.
The whole fiasco around that, which was so blown out of
proportions. We have an AFLW team that uses it.
Proportions. But let's get into round zero.
Yeah.
Because I want to know what your thoughts on a round zero is and why wouldn't they just do a split bye and why the reigning premiers have to go up to the showgrounds in Sydney to verse GWS. For round zero, it feels like we're living in a different world, Mace.
Yeah, it is a weird thing. Hopefully the Easter shows, light on the ground there 3 weeks prior. But yeah, round zero, I get it from the AFL standpoint. They're trying to build the game up there in the north, and that totally makes sense. And I think it's good because Brisbane's going well, Sydney's going well, GWS is going well. All these teams are up there. You talk about Gold Coast is moving up the ranks. All these teams that are in that area are kind of now on the rise, if not at the top. And I think it's a perfect timing for them. That's probably why they're doing this, is they want to go, cool, let's cash in on this. Let's make sure we make the most of them being at the tops, and then we get as many fans and supporters to start coming out to the games more and everything else. And I think that's what this round zero is all about. Yes, would I rather be saying that every premiership team, and I still think this, and not outside of our situation winning it last year, every premiership team should have the opening round and they should unveil the flag as the first thing. I think that'd be a really cool, yearly experience that you do. And if that means that's round zero, I'm not sure. But I think that would be a cool thing to do. But I get what they're doing up there. I understand it. GWS, I'm sorry. Apologies.
Don't back down now. We need the beef.
That'd be exciting round one, though. Or round zero.
Round zero.
And GWS, great team, going really well. And yeah, it's going to be up there, their home ground, beating them by a point in a prelim. They were pretty close that year or last year, and I'm sure they'll have a little bit of fire in their belly, as they say. And it'd be good fun.
So you're happy to go up there, just clean the cow shit off the field after the show, and you're happy.
I thought Victoria Park was bad with dog shit. Who knows? Maybe up there it might be even worse.
Because the last time you versed them, you had your shirt ripped off. There was a little bit of... It's been bubbling away. I reckon it could really kick off in round zero. I think whatever happens in round zero stays in round zero.
Yeah.
No suspensions.
Was it you that was saying the other day, you should show up in a cowboy hat and a bolo tie and boots?
Yeah. If this was the NBA, you could roll up to the game on a horse.
Oh, jeez. No, you're saying Pendles should ride up in a horse.
Yeah, because if Pendles did it.
The bested show horse.
He can't. No one's going to call out Pendles.
No.
But
he can do whatever he wants.
I'm just trying to market it a bit.
Yeah, it's round zero. We're trying to build the game up in the north.
Speaking of marketing, burning up the track. I've heard your boy.
Someone tearing down the house. Someone's burning down the track in preseason. Who would have thought? It's the same damn headline every year.
What's that?
Who's our top one or two of them?
What's the burning down the house. Ooh, baby. What's that? Tom, what's his name?
Keep going.
Tom,
keep going. Keep going, Brayden.
Tom Hanks. Who's that
the
guy?
smooth,
that sings
soothing sounds of Brayden's voice.
Anyway, Fife and Dusty, some old dogs apparently burning up the track.
Love that.
Now, don't we love to
Big
see
fan of
it?
both of them,
Nat
actually.
Fife's back.
Yeah.
We've been hearing all about his off season. Jamie Elliott.
Yeah.
I hear he's the next thing coming off halfback for the
He did
Pies.
play halfback the other day. His team whooped our ass the other day. Oh, jeez, it was tough. Whenever you see Jamie Elliott playing a position he's never played and just dominating, you're like, fuck.
He could play anywhere, and the smaller
He's a freak athlete. He can play
smaller
anywhere.
forwards are like the hardest position, as we all know. But I do want to get into a little bit of the NRL because the reason, or some of the reason that the NRL they're going to Vegas, which is some of why the round zero thing is coming in to get everyone up there. But NRL playing in Vegas, not sure why, not sure how successful it's going to be, but you've kind of always wanted to go over there and play some games, and now the Major League Cricket
it's a thing.
It's a thing in America.
I think one of the team's names is like the Unicorns.
So you've got some grounds to play on over there. Would you like to go over there and play?
I think that's the end goal. The end goal is to have like a exhibition match over there and stuff. But like a lot of people like kind of give me flack. Like, oh, why would we ever go to the U.S. and everything else, you know? And I understand where people are coming from. It's not like you don't go from now to next year playing there a game, right? There's things you have to build, and you have to build an audience over there. You have to build people that care. And I think like social media and TikTok and all these other things that we give our attention to, we can create stuff with AFL to help people in America realize it's an actual sport, because people don't know it exists, right? This is my plan with the AFL, is to hopefully be able to do some of this. And if you can kind of grow a audience over there and then get them involved in some sort and then say, look, we're doing something like the NHL did in Melbourne. Melbourne, not a place known for hockey, right? Not a place known for not a place known for ice and ice rinks.
Yeah.
But there's an NHL game here. And it like was sellout. So if you can get that kind of audience that wants to see the game, you don't need to be selling, Reliant Stadium like NRL is trying to do. Sell a smaller ground with 10,000, fill it out, make it look full, like people know what's going on and like having a good time and tailgating and all this other stuff. Make a big event of it, right? And just get like people's interest over there. I think that's the end goal, is to eventually get a game there, but it's like a 5 to 10 year plan. Everyone's like, no, heaven forbid we go over there. We have to stick to Australia and stick to what we know. And that is how you never grow.
But in 5 years, he probably won't be playing. Knock on wood.
Yeah, but then I'll be growing the game over there. That's going to be my next thing.
But you don't want to play over there.
People keep asking me,
if
what's
we went
after
there the
this?
next year, the year after, you could have a game there.
You reckon?
USA.
USAFL, that's what I'm playing.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to win another premiership somehow. Win it with Mason Cox.
Let's jump into a bit of, we got to do some upkeep. We got to
Clean the sheds.
We got to let people know injuries, key trades, all the stuff that happened that we're going to be, waiting for over the. We'll start with the injuries because they're the sad part. Before the fresh beginnings.
Yeah, okay.
So we got Dan McStay, obviously devastating, but also huge because it's implications for the Collingwood forward line.
Yep.
You finally got a big, tall key in there that you've been lacking for all these years, and I mean, when you were strutting around up there, obviously.
I am sitting right next to you, Brayden.
140 kilos, 7 foot, whatever you were. What does that kind of mean for the club, and what are we going to see up there?
It's going to be an interesting little. Obviously, Dan McStay was massive in our run last year and everything else, and it's sad to see him go down. But like, I will say this though, Dan McStay, right? It's been about a month now, a month and a half. He is looking swole. He is, dude, this man is benching. Like, I don't think there's enough weight in the weight room to put on that bar. He is swole at the moment. I saw him walking down the street the other day. I had to text him. I said, man, he was wearing the singlet, walking the dog. I said, looking good, bro.
One door closes, another one opens.
That's it, man.
Top heavy.
Oh, man. But no, he's going all right. Like, obviously, it's a frustrating thing, but he's in there training his ass off, trying to get back as soon as possible. And, we see him at training and stuff like, the other day he was kicking goals, and it's like those little kind of moments, I think, of like accomplishments of being able to do one more thing and do something new, and all that kind of keeps you in a positive mindset, hopefully, being able to see, a bit of light at each, accomplishment or completing whatever it is. But yeah, it's a different kind of thing for our forward line. Ash Johnson been training the house down. Wouldn't believe it. Training the house down. Reef McGuinness training the house down. Lucky Schultz training the house down. Brody Marchek obviously just still doing Brody Marchek things and just training the house down.
Brody Mychek is the house.
He is the house. He is the roof, the foundation, everything. He gets 0 credit and does all the work for the smalls to get all the love.
I think now he's getting credit.
Is he?
Because every game, every week, they're like, oh,
He's
Brody
been a leading goal
Mychek.
kicker for like 7 years, and no one would know that.
When the commentator's like, oh, he never gets the credit. It's like, well, you're a commentator, so
It's kind of your job.
you could give him credit. But they always say, no, he doesn't get the credit. But there has been a couple of ACLs in the offseason. We got Bailey Smith ACL.
Yeah, that was tough.
Rough. There's a bit of contract talks around, which you don't ever
Is it a
want.
year left on his contract?
Yeah, I think this might be, and then we'll see what happens. And then Jack Silvani, ACL, Heart and Soul at Carlton down there. Yeah. And then a couple of kind of returns on the cards. Tom Lynch coming back from a broken foot, which Richmond really need him because obviously losing Jack. So have him back up and running. So he's running on the track, which is good to see. And then Clayton Oliver, you know, ups and downs over the off season, but he's returned to training. So we like to see that.
I will say this. I'm going to give, I don't really know the situation, what's going on there with him and everything else, but I did see him the other day. It was an early morning, and he was there with a friend of his, and he was kicking a footy with him, so he was doing extra training.
Good to see.
Good to see.
Good to see.
I was in full Lycra, bike kit, everything else, and he looks at me, and I was like, man, this is not the outfit I want my friends to see me in. And he just, you know, whenever someone walks over, and you're kind of sheepishly like, I don't want to get up and just have everything hanging out for him to see, you know? And I'm like, I stayed seated, I think, and I shook his hand because I was like, I think this is a bit weird if I kind of, you know, essentially am butt naked with a bit of skins on.
Lycra doesn't hide a lot. See a lot of lumps going through Lycra, but that's not great.
So apologies as I wasn't as a commentator, Clayton.
At least
had
you
everything.
can stay seated.
Just chilling.
Like you're still the same height.
Still the same height. But no, he was doing some extra training away from, because he's come back, I think, and he's training with them now. So I will say that's what I've seen from him. He's come back and
we want to see everyone doing well, fit, firing, healthy, burning the track up. So yeah, there's a few injuries there, but now let's look ahead to, you know, the trades that we're excited to see, because trades are very exciting, Mason. You get to see some new guys come to your club that you've maybe admired from afar, or you talk shit about them, secretly wanting them to come to your team. Exactly. Like I know a lot of Hawthorn fans are going to be like, fucking Jack Ginnivan. They love him. And now when he comes in the doors, he's like, I fucking love Jack Ginnivan. So let's start talking about some trades, because big Goldie Goldstein went to Essendon. Yep. Now he's pushing 45, 46.
Mate, come on.
It's good to see Essendon very much in their window, as we all know, picking up a very experienced ruckman.
He is a very experienced. He's a good ruckman too.
But
don't talk trash on him. I actually have got a lot of respect for Goldstein.
Hey, all for Goldie, get the bag wherever you go. Yeah. So that's good for Goldstein. Now you got to think it's because, you know, Draper sometimes bit injured, in and out. So you got to have that backup. And he's got that experience, can talk to the younger guys in the team. Good trade. Yeah, good trade. Nice trade. But they didn't stop there. They went ham. They got Ben Mackay.
Yeah, they recruited half the AFL, I think.
and half the St Kilda list. They got Jack Billings, Jade Gresham. So Essendon loading up. Now, we don't know. It can be dangerous if you load up before your window, but we'll wait and see. We won't preempt these things.
I wonder if these are the things, right? Whenever you don't make finals, Essendon's, you know, cops all this criticism, like, oh, who do we sack because we didn't make finals?
Yeah.
You know? And I wonder if you kind of get to a certain point in a year and you go, you know, for people to keep their contracts, whether it be the board people or it be the coaches, whether it be assistant coaches, whatever it is, you got to make moves. You got to make changes, right? To make sure that people know that you're trying and you're trying to, like, you know, like it's a way of showing the world that, like, yes, we are making the efforts and making the decisions to try to give us the best position to make finals, right? And I think what they're doing is exactly that. Because they're a bit under the pump over at Essendon, I reckon, with everyone there, because they were close to making finals. They got the hopes up early, and then went down. And that's whenever people get really filthy and they go, shit, we need to make them happy somehow, trade a few people, get some excitement back into the club, and we'll try to get into the year and have a good start.
Absolutely. Don't dip down too hard. Only time will tell if they should have just held off, gone to the draft, done it the long way. But, you know, some teams don't have to do it the long way. Geelong. Have been up there since I've been born. So they just keep going around. Port Adelaide, they've loaded up. They got Ratatouille.
My boy,
They got Soldo. They got Zerk Thatcher.
Underrated. Soldo didn't have a dominant year.
Yeah, big
as long as he stays
mustache
healthy.
man.
Mustache man. Big fan of Soldo.
Sydney. Now, they loaded up. They just stole half of Collingwood's players or ex-players. They got Brody Grundy.
Yep.
He's bound to just rip it off.
Mate,
he's just going to rip the lid off when he goes up there.
Australian this year.
He does.
I'm saying it right now. You can quote me from the very beginning before the season even starts. Brody Grundy, All-Australian rock.
Well, you did say that last year, and I reckon the year before.
Brayden. We don't need to talk about the past. This is the present. We're talking about now. Living in the present.
They also got Taylor Adams and Hamling, so they loaded up with some pretty handy players. Now, Collingwood. They got Schultz, who I don't know if anyone has.
Shooter.
Lockie Schultz. I don't know if you haven't seen any Freo games because there's a lot of it does annoy me and it annoys a lot of interstate fans when a genuine gun makes a trade and they come across to Victoria and then they play as well as they've been playing interstate and then the whole media landscape is like, wow, this guy's just turned it on out of nowhere. And it's like,
in the world?
Lockie Schultz has been killing it for Freo for years now.
You reckon he's going to be the top goal kicker this year?
At Collingwood.
Pressure on you for a bit of
yeah.
Top goal kicker
at Collingwood
this year, over Brody Marchek.
It's over Brody Marchek.
20-time winner, whatever he's been.
Surely someone's bound to take it from him eventually.
Huge. Yeah.
But I reckon if anyone's going to do it, Lockie Schultz could be doing it. Unfortunately, Jack Ginnivan out.
Yeah.
Made way for Schultz. Guinea over to Hawthorn. Surely sad to see him go.
Yeah, big love from my man Guinea. Caught up at BTV.
Caught up at BTV. He was popular.
I can't imagine that man would be able to get around without people noticing him.
He was undercover. It was like 35 degrees and he had a scarf on.
He had the scarf on. That's it. Maybe that's what I need to do next year. We need to go and I'll be just a doof stick, just myself as a human. I'll be the doof
I don't think if you put a scarf on 7 foot tall, 130 kilo Mason Cox.
The scarf. Scarf on me, a blanket for other people.
Dress up as a tree.
Dress up as a tree out the back. Yes, Guinea goes to the Hawks. Unfortunately, I got so much love for him. We all know on this podcast we love Guinea. He's an absolute legend and someone that always would be part of that premiership side, obviously. But yeah, I mean, in that scenario, you talk about Taylor Adams, Guinea. They got these offers from these clubs that were longer play offers than our club is willing to give them, and who knows what the finances were. But people have to realize this is a business where people need to set up the rest of their life, and if someone's going to give you a job that's more secure for a longer time, you do have to weigh those things out, and it's just an unfortunate part of this this industry. But to lose players like that are such high caliber and good people, but at the end of the day, it's you got to sometimes put yourself first, and put your life and your kids and your family and your wife and all that, and make sure you set up a decent future for them.
It's tight at the top. When you're going for those flags, it's tight at the top. Obviously, if you win a flag, you got a pretty good team. So, you can go somewhere else.
The best team in the league, Brayden.
Go somewhere else. You can get the cash, jump on.
Talk about cash. Who else has signed this year?
We have, your boy, Quaynor, Q. 5-year re-sign.
Oh, man, the model himself. Ooh, he's starting to do a bit of modeling. And I've told him for a long time, said, man, you've got the no offense. No offense, this is like all offense.
No offense, you are attractive.
Great. You are super attractive as a human.
No offense.
You have got the best rig at the club, maybe the IFL. I reckon he's probably got the best rig in the IFL. You can clip that up and chunk it out there, Brayden, because I think there is 0% of people who are going to disagree with that.
No one asked, but love it.
Yep.
Love it. And his brother came down and he's training with you guys, and he looks just as huge.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's scary.
It's a little secret. No, I shouldn't be telling that.
I think it's out and about. Okay. Sean Darcy re-signed. Freo, 6 years. What they need, what they love. Big fella down there.
Love it.
Winning ruck taps. It's just, you love it.
Impossible to move. Tree trunks for legs. Just no chance in hell he's getting out of his position once he gets settled.
He's a genuine big boy. If you're pushing your kilos, he's pushing. Whoo.
You know what the wild thing is? He's one of those freak athlete big boys. He would run a 2K at a ridiculous pace, and you would go, "How in the world is a man that has that much muscle mass on him can run that quick?"
Not fair.
Not fair. It's a genuine freak.
It's not how it works. It's
he's got big man athleticism.
That's annoying for everyone else except for Fremantle. But we're going to touch on this a little bit more in future episodes. We've got a couple of weeks. We've got to build up to the season. So we're going to...
Hey, we're back, baby.
We're back.
We're freaking back, baby.
Oh, exciting
Season
times.
3 every Tuesday. You better put it up in your calendars, boys and girls.
We've been doing this we're 3. This is the 3rd
How have you not got sick of me yet?
I'm sick of you from the jump, mate. So we do have some preseason games, but we'll probably get into them going into the other weeks because you got North Melbourne coming up at Arden Street.
Kanga. Woo, woo, woo.
First time back. Well,
the Shinboners.
You're going to Arden Street.
Weird thing.
Speak about beefs. You talk shit about them. I love them.
North Melbourne.
You talk shit about them every other week last year.
Never.
And it's the first time back to Arden Street, correct me if I'm wrong, since you were wearing head to toe North Melbourne kit running around there like a goose.
Yep, I was a gangly giraffe that had no idea what AFL was, trying to jump on a specky bag and handball a footy I've never seen in my life. I'm sure you'll clip this up into an embarrassment segment.
That's good because they did a full video.
They did a full hype video. I'm pretty sure like my brother was hit on by one of their people over there and like they were trying to really, find every angle to get me to come into the club. Schmoozing, that's for sure. They had a great time, we'll say that. Alistair Clarkson taking over that role obviously over there and I think they're going to go up from there. He's got experience and he's going to be able to get them in a straight line. So be interesting to play North Melbourne. I think it'll be one of those 6-quarter games. Everyone kind of gets a run. Young kids get to go. Everything else, right? Which would be cool. So that down at Arden Street, I haven't been there since then. That was Majak Dahl days. Remember I met him for the first time, and Eric Wallace, the other American, was there. The big fella.
Times have changed.
And it's been a decade.
That's crazy. Don't say that.
It's been a decade since that video came out.
Oh, do not say that.
Do not say that. Move on to the next
segment. That's so concerning. But that'll be good because we'll look into all of that stuff. There's a lot of new coaches. There's obviously, Clarko getting another year of it. Dimmer going down, Adam Uze over at Richmond. Yep. Plenty happening. So we'll do a deep dive into, season preview in the next couple of weeks. That'll be great. But we will jump in and talk about some feedback because we asked for your feedback of this podcast and it was awesome. The amount.
So good.
It was pretty, it was really constructive. I thought, we'd get a bit of heat coming off them, which I like the heat, but it was very constructive.
People were very good. I wanted people to say we were more shit.
I was waiting for it. I was ready for it.
How do we fix this? And be like, no, you're doing well. And I'm like, no, but how can we be better? Where's our fault? It's like, no, you're doing great. And I was like, give me something negative.
Yeah, so it was.
But we appreciate it, though. That was awesome.
Go through.
Did the polls and the questions and everything else. That's actually really important for us, legitimately, for us to make this thing epic, for you guys to enjoy the content and just to put a smile on your face. That's what we're all about, building this community and having a good time talking footy and interviewing crazy people and just living an epic life. We're all about it. So to get that feedback, to know exactly what you're enjoying and everything else is it's important for us.
See, I think that's my goal, my personal goal for this podcast is for it to get so big.
Huge.
That I get to, ride your coattails to some events because I'm sick of just.
You were at the F1 last year.
That was good. You must have ran out of people because it was we need more events. They need to be
what's on your hit list? What's the one you want to go to?
That is a great question.
What's the one event you want to go to?
Well, I can't say the grand final because you'll be playing in it, so you won't be able to. You won't be able, I do. This is a dream goal of the podcast.
Do you want to be filming content at a grand final and playing it in the background?
No, I don't want to be working. I want to be drunk.
I was about to say, the way you were looking at me was a bit kind of weird.
What I want to happen is we get tailgating in Australia up off the ground. That's what I want that to be our thing. Tailgating.
That'd be so good. Dude, let's do it.
So, if we can get the balls, the wheels in motion on that, and then when you, hang up the boots in 3 to 5 years or so. You're just, you're Jason Kelsey or whatever, shirt off.
Oh, yes.
You're just smashing kegs.
We haven't even gone into Taylor Swift yet.
Yeah, no, and we'll wait. We'll hold fire. I don't want to hear about any beads or anything.
Beads?
Isn't that what you did?
That sounded sexual, but we'll move on.
Don't you give her beads?
Oh, it's bracelets, Brayden. It's bracelets.
You can give it a pair of beads with your name on it. Go well.
Oh,
hey, you got to do something to cut through the noise.
Got to cut through somehow. Be willing to sell your soul every once in a while. Thanks everyone for the feedback and everything else. I want to shout out someone real quick.
Yeah.
This man sent us and tagged us in something that was hilarious. We've had some funny things go through this podcast, from the all phallus poster that was given.
Hilarious.
Shout out to the person in Africa that bought our merch.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That was amazing. Hopefully she's hearing this. We want to say a massive thank you. That was
safari,
actually really
in front of a giraffe. stuff.
Yeah,
and
it was
shit.
like, I can't remember the country, but it was in like the Congo or something. It
The
was
person that was in the background on the broadcast holding up the stuff.
Holding up our stuff, freaking legends. The people come to training and like wear the gear. Met a guy in Port Fairy that was wearing the gear and came to the footy show I had. Like, loving it. Absolutely loving it. So a lot to be thankful for. But this man, Hesse, mate, he made an AI creation. I'm worried, Brayden. I'm very worried.
It was too accurate.
It was way too accurate. This is an AI recreation. He was upset because we hadn't done the podcast in so long. I said, mate, give it 3 days. We're back in 3 days, brother. You've come at the very end. And I think he maybe pushed out the content because he was like, shit, I need to get this done. But he did an AI like redo of us in a podcast and it had our voices, and our voices were like spot on.
Yeah.
Just bang on. And I was like, we're out of a job, Brayden.
Well, I was thinking, is that a way that we
can just
can
literally create a podcast like us, and no one's going to know if it's actually us or not. They're going to think it is.
I was thinking I could get out of a couple of shifts here and there. I was very good on that. I actually don't mind
I might be
how AI Brayden looked too. He looked pretty good. I don't know. AI Mason looked a bit
shocking. I think one of us was AI'd into a dragon at some point.
I was like, when I saw it, I was like concerned because it was pretty much why we haven't done a podcast for 6 months. We angered the footy gods, and we're back to appease them for a third straight year because, it's been working so far.
Yeah.
Every time we've done a podcast series, you made a prelim, you won a grand final.
What's after that?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, maybe we go to the Super Bowl next.
Yeah.
We're just putting it out.
That's another thing. I want to do some
out to the atmosphere.
overseas shit.
The Mason Cox Show goes on tour
with Filthy Phil Cox.
Oh, now we're talking.
Tour of the States.
Oh, dude, actually, I want to put this idea out there, and I need to get people to get behind it. Maybe tag my father in it. I want to get a tattoo with my father, a premiership tattoo.
Yeah.
With my father, we film it. My mother would be fucking pissed.
That would be good.
It would be so good.
I think if we're going to get
I asked him. I think he's kind of keen, but my mom was in the room whenever I asked him. So I think if I got him, I think if I got him away, got a few people on the, the Twitters and stuff, because he's on Twitter. He's a big tweeter guy.
Big Twitter.
Or X, sorry.
Big Twitter.
Instagram, and just said, Phil, you got to get the tattoo with Mason. If you get him pressured, I reckon he might do it.
Yeah. And what about a sponsor? We can look back on this episode and be like, whoa, like all these things happened.
Yeah.
Because I reckon Filthy's got to be the head of the tailgate. Like he's got to be on the barbecue, cooking it up.
Yep, smoker.
But I think we got to get your goggles. You can't put a sponsorship on them.
Yeah.
But I reckon we get some flames going. We get some Pit Viper sponsors. We get some.
I reckon we can get a sponsorship on
We
them.
get some cool
if
shit
it's a
going.
short name, I could probably get 3 letters on the side, I think.
Yeah. Pit Viper's the dream.
Pit Vipers. Maybe that should be my pregame, like, sunglasses. Pit Vipers.
Yeah. Well, they can't do anything pregame, surely.
I mean, like, why can't you? You have to wear the club logos and stuff. I can wear whatever glasses and whatever hat I want, I feel like.
I think we're cooking. I reckon.
Maybe a gold chain or something. Maybe a grill.
Yeah,
maybe
some
unique
not.
shoes.
Maybe not.
What are we thinking? What can we push the AFL to get too pissed at?
This is a medical gold chain. These are medical grills. I need these.
They give me a cease and assist the day before, knowing the experience I've had with them.
We got to wrap her up.
We've gone down a
We're
rabbit
going
hole,
long. Let us know what we should dream for. Because
what's our 2024
you're part of it. You're gonna force people into achieving our dreams.
We're gonna do this. We're gonna do part of the next episode, 2024, like year goals for the podcast, same for each other. Bang.
We're going overseas. We got to do an overseas.
We got to do one. All right. Well, we're gonna close this up. It's been epic to be back. It feels good. Feels fresh. Hopefully, everyone's like, oh man, how good to have them back. Finally, after a little 3-month hiatus, they're back, and we're gonna get this weekly content that we just love. We love the weekly content.
We needed footy back because cricket's boring, isn't it?
Mate, did I tell you the story? I almost got arrested by Cricket Australia.
We'll leave it for next week. Leave it for next week.
I almost got arrested with Cricket Australia.
Leave it for next week. No. Leave it for next week.
Next week, epic story.
We talked about every sport.
Epic story. Almost got arrested for playing cricket in the backyard, essentially. The whole thing. It's going to be worth it, I promise you.
Get rapping.
Geez, that's a teaser if I've ever heard it. All right, we'll wrap through it. Closure, everyone. So I just want to say a massive thank you. We're stoked to be back for 2024, Season 3. Now, remember, every Tuesday we're coming out with these episodes. So mark it on your calendar. Set an event wherever the hell you need to download it that morning to make sure you can listen to it for whenever you need to, on the way to work or at work or whatever it is. It was on the survey.
Yeah, there's mornings and nights. And
mornings and nights.
biggest is from home.
Yes.
Which I selected from The Office, but I was in the vast
your office,
minority.
So.
I'm always in the office.
But no, seriously, thanks everyone for the feedback. Appreciate it. So stoked for season 2024, season 3. And it's going to be an epic year. We've got some awesome stuff. We've had a little bit of an ideas meeting. We've got a lot on the whiteboard, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be
so
freaking fun. There were so many people we're going to interview. And it's on me to get them. But it's going to be a good year, to say the least. But massive thank you for tuning in. It's epic. We're back, baby. We're freaking back. Season 3, 2024. We'll catch you next week. Peace.
Yeah.